Oh,
We live?
we live. We live out here. Trill talk.
China edition.
I was just about to say that.
I knew it.
That's why I sound sad, y'all. This is gonna be the saddest episode y'all ever get. It's the China edition. So we up in China. My boy at James Chaney MMA got a fight coming up. What's the date?
It's going to be on the 9th.
September 9th, Kunlun fight versus #1 welterweight in China, Zhang Li Peng. Check that shit out. He about to do work. And tell them we just gonna be sad as fuck just training for it.
Mm-hmm.
So we just gonna freestyle. There's some fights tomorrow. Let's see who's even fighting. What we could talk about. Got Luke Sanders, Cool Hands. I don't know.
Cool hand Luke, huh?
I don't know. My shit fire, so I don't know. I don't know what it mean. I know Cool Hands versus Ronnie Yaya, Drew Dober, Super Saiyan John Tuck. John Tuck big.
Yeah.
You remember when we
Tough
seen him?
dude,
Yeah,
yeah.
when we was at the airport
Mm-hmm.
together with him. Yeah, he big dude. I wonder how big
for his
Drew
weight.
Dober is. John Tuck head was like this.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going with John Tuck just because he cool. JoJo Calderwood on there. Mickey Gall on there. What's your thoughts on Mickey Gall? He find George Sullivan, whose name amuses me.
Yeah, I like his name. I fucking like those cool boxers. Man, you know what? I don't got nothing bad to say about him yet, but I don't got a lot good to say about him yet. I just feel like he's a guy that shows potential and he ain't no bitch, but he's untested. You know what I mean?
Yeah. You know, it's weird. He had all the hype behind him, and then he just vanished. He lost the fight, vanished, and now he's just back. But it's like he came back, but the hype didn't come back with him. You know, it's
Just kind of
it's
unceremoniously returning. Hopefully he goes and does work, and you know, it'll be like some reemergence, Phoenix type shit or something.
Well, this is a fight they gave him to win. George Sullivan, tough dude.
I don't know a lot about him, to be honest with you. I like the name.
He's just tough, but like subpar skills everywhere. So you know, Mickey Gall has striking, good jiu-jitsu. George Sullivan is always trying to wrestle people down, so it should be a showcase for Mickey Gall. I don't know where that hype went, but you better get it back. Marcus Perez and Andrew Sanchez. Nobody knows who those guys are, but that's an interesting fight to me. Andrew Sanchez, good wrestler. Marcus Perez, he throw that ninja spinning shit. So, you know, Yuri Alcantara, Corey Sandhagen. I like that fight. Because Sandhagen's a good striker and Alcantara's out of his mind. So, dude, it's a lot of fights on this card that, unfortunately, since the UFC just does not promote anybody but 10% of the roster, people won't even realize how good some of these fights are. So, sorry folks, we can only focus on what the masses know for the most part.
Yeah. I mean, we'll push somebody if we really care about him, but shit.
Yuri Alcantara should always have some hype. He's been good for a long time. You know, but like Corey, they should be pushing some of these guys some. Warley Alves and James Krause. That
fucking nickname, man.
So, what do you think about that fight? You know, because everybody's starting to go back up. Before we even get to the fight, you notice all these 55ers are starting to fight at 70 now. Why do you think that is?
You know, it's a weird thing with 55 and 70 because to me, those are the two strongest divisions. So it's not like you're getting yourself out of the heat by going from one to the other. You know what I mean? They're both super hard, super stacked. The difference I see between 55 and 70 is at 55, people tend to be cardio machines with good athletic skills, and they still got their speed, and they're just barely starting to get the sort of power to knock people out. There's some people in there that obviously have great power, right? You know, but those guys are exceptions. They're outliers. At 170, you start to see a little bit more power. There's more guys that can put you out with just a punch. And once you get 85 or above, that's where the real punchers are.
Yeah.
You know, it's one of those things where there just needs to be more divisions, to be honest with you, because some of these guys are caught in the middle. And I was just thinking about it today with my boy Mike Chiesa, you know, because I think that he'll do well at 170 up to a certain point. But what's karate homie who's fighting Woodley's name again?
Oh, Trill.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jordan, I mean, he might be able to do fine against these medium and even bigger guys up to a certain point. But once you get to somebody that's that big, that's too big.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? So that's the thing about it. And a lot of these guys that are going from 55 back up into 70 are going to run into the same issue at a certain point, you know? I remember, what's that guy's name? He gave Ben Askren his best fight. I think he's retired now. He's in Vegas for instance.
Jay Heron.
Jay Heron. I remember when I went with him, and I saw how big he was as a welterweight man. Like, that's so big that you just gotta hope that they're 3/4 of the way dead by the time they step on that scale, and then they're still at least a quarter dead by the time they get in that ring.
You know what's crazy though? Darren Till was like 3/4 of the way dead, and people are fighting him like that, and he's still too much.
Still, yeah.
You know, so it's everybody's talking about making this 65 division. I've discussed it with you. I think that it needs to be 62.
It just
like
makes more
exactly
sense.
In the middle of the two, because you will have some people at 70 trying to make 65 and killing themselves to make 65 for the advantage that they feel they don't have at 70. So you probably have that accidental death at 65. I can see it happening.
Yeah.
And then some of those big 70 guys are medium big ones, not the big ones, but the medium big ones can still make 65. They just kill themselves to do it. And then they have the near death weight cuts and the size advantage. So you still can't escape it. The guys who need to be in that middle, they still can't escape it. It needs to be 62, because then the 70 guys can't make 62. And the guys that's a little bit too big, just a little bit too big, killing themselves to make 55, they can make the 62. It needs to make 62 right in the middle. It makes sense. I don't know why you would jump 55, 65, then 70. 70's only 5 pounds up.
Yeah, see, my thing with it is, my biggest thing with it's like 5 pounds is not so much that it separates, you know, one from the other. So you could end up with a situation where the 165-pound champ and the 170-pound champ are consistently the same guy.
Yeah.
That little bit of weight makes all the difference, you know what I mean? Otherwise, it's just like welterweight and diet welterweight.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's almost
it's
the
like
same
a welter
shit.
and a super welter. It makes no...
Yeah, you don't want to end up with a boxing situation where there's just way too many weight divisions and way too many championships and titles that mean relatively nothing, because it's just too much.
5 pounds is not enough. It's not enough. Do the 55, the 62, the 70. I do think a 95 is good.
I think
So it's
that's
85,
great.
95, 205. That's fine. At a 95, at a 162. It's like they feel like they have to stick at this 5 pound increment thing.
See, you know what? Don't. And it's maybe a borderline separate issue, but I think that they should just have heavyweight be all weights. This super heavyweight nonsense it's like a division that kind of sort of exists. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But all these guys who would be making it are cutting down, and it's just silly, because most of them that have to do that are not looking to be the champions at heavyweight. They're not, like, really close. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
you get
I don't
a guy,
think there should be a super heavyweight. It should just be like, what, 235 or something up is heavyweight or something like that, you know?
Yeah.
And that's just what it is. You know, I feel like the only divisions that they need to add is they just need to make heavyweight blink up. They need to add a 95, I do think that, and they need to add a 162.
Yeah.
I don't agree with 165. It's too close to 170. It will still be problems. You know what I mean? And let that be that. And as far as the guys going 55, it's kind of messed up because these guys are too big for 55, almost dying, and then they're too small for welterweight. Yeah. They can be good there, but never great. See, how are they going to beat like a Tyrone Woodley? How are they going to beat a Darren Till? Even a Stephen Thompson who has that height and he's a big guy.
And the thing you got to understand about this is maybe some people don't know is once you start getting to like the difference between cutting 20 pounds when you weigh 210 versus cutting even like 10 pounds when you're fighting at 125. Different things, man. When guys are really small and they're already really trim, they don't have a lot of body weight. That's a whole different thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's the muscle that matters the most because muscle holds water. So the more muscle you have, the more weight you can actually cut for water. You know? So it's like these people don't realize that the guys who can cut the most water weight are the most muscular guys. So now you're getting the strongest, densest guys that can actually cut the lowest. So people don't realize just how much of an unfair advantage you got. The less musculature, the less water retention your body holds. So when you have a guy that's not too buff, he's going to be able to cut less than a buff guy. Now you got this big ass Darren Till guy. Everybody's like, he's big, he's cutting so much weight. They don't realize, yeah, he's cutting a lot of weight, but here's the funny thing, it's easier for him to cut 20 pounds than a less muscular guy. Even if you took a guy his same size that didn't have as much muscular density, they can't cut as much water weight. And people don't understand these physiological elements of that weight cutting. So you're getting the biggest, strongest guys that can get the lowest.
Sure.
How is that ever fair?
You know, and that's a fair point, but even aside that, my point is more like this gap between 185 and 205, while bigger, and something that should be fixed too. It's like the difference between 155 and 170, even though it's 15 pounds instead of 20, it's like it's not as easily surmountable as you might think because these guys just don't weigh as much, you know what I mean? And muscle and anything else, they just don't have as much weight to lose, you know? You dry up a lot quicker when you're smaller. You get someone who's like a flyweight or a bantamweight, then they really feel it, you know what I mean?
You know what's crazy too? These lightweights are cutting from like 180.
Yeah.
So that means if they're moving up to welterweight, they're like 180. But you're getting these welterweights cutting from like 205.
See, you know what, man? And
Look at that difference.
I remember when I was just a youngin' in the game, you know, fighting amateur and just going throughout the Idaho scene, and I had never heard of anybody cutting from 190 down to 170. And then it just kind of became the norm when I was in California. You'd see it all the time. And granted, a lot of these guys weren't the most trim, you know what I mean? It's not like they were a solid 170. They would get down a little bit lower first. But for me, I was walking around like 178 in a pair of boots, you know what I mean? Now, it's just a different thing. The standard welterweight tends to be closer to 190 than 185, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's nuts. When I was first fighting, I was like 158 fighting at 155. That's what was crazy, dude. Like 158 fighting at 155. I had to work hard to put some size on me.
I remember for my second pro fight, I was at 170. And I was all upset because I had to cut 6 pounds, you know. So I went and I took an hour and just did 2 20-minute and 1 10-minute runs in the sauna and weighed in at 168, you know, and I was crying about it, thinking I had to really do something. The game has changed, man. That's just not what it is anymore, you know?
Yeah, it's crazy. It's changed, some good, some bad, but this weight shit is nuts. James Krause, Warlley Alves. I don't like that fight for James Krause.
Yeah.
You know, like, I don't feel he has the wrestling skills or the physicality to get Warlley down. And then in the stand-up department, he's like a guy with decent stand-up that doesn't like to be hit. He has the signs of a guy that doesn't like to be hit. He's never had the best chin, and you're going against a power puncher and power kicker who's hyper-aggressive and a forward mover. And I believe the only guy to beat Covington right now with a guillotine choke. So
I think both guys present enough danger to make the fight interesting, but I hear what you're saying.
And then you got a 55 versus a legit 70 guy.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm with Warley on that one. Who else is on this card? That interests me. Jake Ellenberger and Brian Barbanera, another 55 guy who went up to 70. What's going on with Ellenberger?
You know what?
Ain't he like 2-88 in his last 90 fights?
Man, the thing is, it's weird because I just don't think of it as being that way. And it's been especially weird to me after seeing, what's homeboy's name with the tattooed eyebrows?
Who?
That crazy guy that got beat by Max Griffin pretty recent, like.
Mike Perry.
Mike Perry, yeah, he knocked him out with that elbow, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, at the time, I wasn't too sure what to think of Mike Perry, you know? And now that I see him a little bit more, it's like, he's a guy that can be trouble for anybody, you know what I mean? But he's not the most skilled guy. And when I stack my perception of him against my perception of Ellenberger, I would never think that Ellenberger loses that fight. But sure enough, he did, and he lost it emphatically.
Yeah.
This fight is really, I mean, Jake Ellenberger has to get it together, you know. There's been times where he's looked really spectacular, like when he knocked out Jake Shields, among a couple other times. You know, he's a really powerful striker. He's got good wrestling. You know, he makes stuff work just on his power alone. He's got to get it together.
You know what's weird? He's always, even in his prime, he was a guy, they call him the Juggernaut, and it reminded me of Kane Marco, the comic character, because you know, like, he was forward pressing, hard hitting, unrelenting until you knock off the helmet. Mm-hmm. And then it's like Jean Grey gets him, and he's like, ah, and he's mentally weak. And Ellenberger, that's what he reminded me of, because he was just like the dude where if it was going his way, he was fine. And then as soon as it wasn't going his way, he almost quit, you know? It would just be like, it wasn't like it would start to not go his way and then he comes back. Once it starts not going his way, those are the fights he would lose. But now I feel like in his recent career, he's starting the fight in the mode of it, like the helmet off, so to speak.
Yeah.
And even when I saw him at the weigh-ins and everything, I didn't like the look in his eye. And then he's fighting somebody like Barbanera, and if you know, that's the guy that just like, he just goes here, like forward, just in your shit. And I'm like, dude, that's like the perfect guy to expose you if you ain't right here, you know? So I'm like, this ain't a good, and it's funny because not too many years ago, I would have never, if we were talking about the same fight, I would have been like, oh, Ellenberger, you know? But now it's just like, I just don't see him winning that. And I think it's more of a mental thing.
I liked him a lot in the first 2 rounds against Diego Sanchez, right? And the best case scenario would be a fight kind of like that, and God willing, he makes it a little bit better in the 3rd round. That would be the fight where they decided to make all main events 5 rounds,
Yeah.
Because he faded so bad, and that's his thing, is he traditionally has come out with a lot of steam and then lost it as he goes along. Hopefully he can patch that up and move on to another level where he can sustain through 3 rounds. But if he can at least make those first 2, he might have a shot at it, you know what I mean? The thing is Barbanera's never really impressed me too much. You know, I mean, he's just not a guy I think of as having, like, great skills for winning a lot of decisions against guys who are superior wrestlers, and the knockout and submission skills to end it quickly. You know what I mean? But at the same time, against a wrestler that fades,
yeah,
he can get the job done.
And he don't get tired, Barbanera.
Yeah.
So, yeah, he's the perfect guy to expose you for your cardio, your mind.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? He almost... Diego has skills wrestling and jiu-jitsu. Barbanera, I don't feel, has any, like, things like that where you can point it out and say, okay, well, he has these good things, but he has a bunch of stuff he knows how to make work for him, you know, and we already know in the game you don't have to be the best skilled person to win these
Diego
fights.
wasn't the most skilled dude. He just never stopped.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If
he
you
broke people.
Yeah, if you can get someone tired the way he does, particularly if you're getting him tired by kicking the shit out of him, rather than absorbing stuff and getting out wrestled. You know,
Yeah, Gil Melendez was the same way. He was never, to this day, not the most skilled of all people, but he got a chin, he has cardio, and he's unrelenting.
And he has fundamentals.
Yeah, it's funny. The most skills don't win the game, but we'll see how that one goes. Andre Feely and Michael Johnson at 45.
You know what, man? That's a tough fight, but I'm going with Feely. You know, I know that may not be the logical choice, but I like Feely, man. That's really my whole reason for doing it. I like Feely. Let me see.
You know I can't go off who I like, because Michael Johnson is always trying to talk shit to somebody and then crying about something. Then Andre Feely tried to get sick with me that time in person. Now I was going to have to slap the shit out of him.
That's right, I remember that.
You know? So, I don't know, but I got to go with Feely on that fight too, but here's the thing, Feely at 45 looks better than Johnson, because Johnson fought, who was it, Elkins. Yeah. And he just looked like Michael Johnson gets to these points where it looks like he gives up on himself to me. And then Andre Feely, who did he fight? Dennis Bermudez. I thought he lost. That fight. And somehow he won. But he didn't look bad, though. You know?
You know what, man?
He didn't look bad in the fight.
Like, he's a good wrestler, but he's adapted it really well into MMA, because he's got this reactive shot that he takes people down with so much. Like Bermudez, I couldn't believe how much he was getting him down, but he just had the timing for bursting in with that shot and getting him down over and over again, and it surprised me, because I thought it would be a lot more on Bermudez's side, to be honest, you know. His kicks are good, and he wears people down to the body, you know. I like that about him.
Yeah, he has a good, well-rounded game.
Sure, you know what, and the fact that he wears on people by going to the body and by doing like rough wrestling type shit, I feel like that gives him a good shot at taking Michael Johnson out of his game, you know, like just challenging his cardio before it can become too much of a threat. Now, I mean, if it ends up being a situation where he tags him early. You know.
I think that if Michael Johnson beats him, it'll be early. Michael Johnson does his best, but you know what? It's like he learned Ultra Instinct when he fought Barbosa, and then lost it and never got it back. You know? That Michael Johnson was the best I've ever seen. You got to remember, he was the first dude to do that to Barbosa out of everybody. You remember?
Yep.
He set that plan. That was before Ferguson got him and before Kevin Lee got him and everything like that. He set that. And everybody was like, what? I remember the punch numbers were so high. And I was like, man, this dude crazy. I think that's when he first hooked up with what was it? Not Henry Hoop and then Black Zillions at the time. Okay. And I was like, what? This motherfucker look crazy. And then he just never lost it. And Nate started slapping him up. And then...
It's a tough fight for him. I don't know when he's...
But that was the most fit I've ever seen Nate. Sure. And we've known Nate for forever.
Yeah, you know what? It wasn't just fit, too. He was sharp. That was like after he just started integrating weights into his game.
He had muscle,
Yeah, he had real muscle on him. And he just looked sharp with his boxing. Like his timing was good. His reaction was good.
That Nate would beat almost everybody.
Yeah.
That, I don't know. I got Andre Feely in that one too, because Michael Johnson fades. Feely doesn't really fade. Feely has a more well-rounded game. You know, Feely's looked sharper in his last few fights than Michael Johnson has. Yeah, and it's just, and then Feely doesn't quit.
Sure, and then you got to count on Johnson being a little bit diminished from that weight cut, you know, whereas this is normal territory for Feely.
Yeah, who knows if he will be now, because this is his third fight at 45, I believe.
Yeah.
So maybe he might be used to it, but regardless, I don't feel he has the vascular edge, so I got to go with Feely on that one. And then the last one, Texecutioner. I hate that name, but he doing work. I got to give him credit. James Vick versus the highlight, Justin Gaethje. Who you got?
You know, the funny thing about that is like James Vick's consistently been this dude where I haven't picked him to win, and then he wins the fight that I say he's not going to win. You know what I mean?
Always.
Just over and over again.
Over and over.
I remember seeing that little boxing tattoo on his arm and thinking, man, his boxing skills don't look sharp enough to be getting no boxing tattoo. But, I mean, he's doing work with that. And then I remember seeing him in person. I'm like, he definitely ain't no 6'5". But whatever, you know, I can doubt all these things all I want. He's out there whooping people's ass pretty regularly and pretty decisively, too. You know?
Yeah, finishing them.
Yeah.
Finishing them.
Yeah. Looking real good doing it. So
dude,
maybe I should just shut my mouth. You know?
Man, he got Joe Duffy.
Yeah.
Dude, he getting I think the only person get him was who? Benil Darush, I believe, knocked him out. But everybody else, he just finishing him, dude. Darsing him up, knocking him out, putting them combinations together. Everything, man. He's looking real good. I'm still mad at him because I was trying to get in them damn rounds up in Thailand.
I remember.
And he didn't want to get in them rounds. I'm like, let me get in them rounds. You know what I
thing
mean? And the thing is, it was like a respect thing because I'm like, I see you out there doing your thing, so let me get in them rounds, see how I do. Because if you're doing your thing and then I could do my thing with you, then that means the thing could be done.
Right.
But then he didn't want to get in them rounds, and I'm like, come on, Tex, man, we both from the South.
Yeah, no, I was trying to get ready for a fight. I couldn't get nothing in either, but whatever, it's his thing.
You know? And he be having some black coaches too. You know what I mean? You see him, so you know what I mean? I'm like, I throw him the black power even though he's white, you know, but you know, here's the thing. I think what might mess him up in this fight is he just think that he's here and Justin Gaethje's here. You know, and I'm like, you can't do that. You can't sleep on Justin Gaethje.
See, you know what? And that goes both ways. Because the thing about Gaethje is, it's like, he's there to be tagged. You know what I mean? And James Vick is a tagger. You know what I mean? So it's just going to be a matter of who breaks first. You know what I mean? And not breaks in the sense of heart, but their job.
Dude,
you know?
Here's the thing. Justin Gaethje might have lost to Poirier and Alvarez, but those guys were almost dead to beat him.
Yeah, well, and it's not like he didn't take shots before he went down.
Dude.
It's not like he's got a glass jaw or nothing like that. But
they were almost... The thing is, those are two of the few people that could get through what they got through to beat him. Most of the guys would have been, like, either knocked out or been like, this is too much, I'm done, and found a way out.
Yeah,
those are two of the few, and I emphasize few guys that could come back from that because they went through hell to beat that guy, especially Alvarez.
Yeah.
You know, it. Here's the thing: I can't say if Vick has that or not. Never seen him in that situation, but he's like, oh, I'm gonna dance, and like he feels like he's gonna dance and move, and he's long, and he could hit Gaethje, call him the Homer Simpson of MMA, like he could just hit him and not be hit by him. I don't like that mentality because I don't feel you getting through that fight without that guy hitting you. And then if he turns it ugly, and you got it so much in your mind that you could make it a technical fight, like you've been saying, and not make it ugly and stuff, what are you gonna do? How's your mind gonna be when it becomes that? Because you got to think about it. Who has Gaethje fought that he didn't make it into a fight?
Right.
You know, like when he fought, what's his name? In WSOF, Baboon.
Oh, yeah.
You know, like 3 times. That guy's a sharp boxer. Gaethje beat him by making him brawl.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He fought other homie that I liked that was in the UFC. And he fought Rick Story, that big puncher. Big puncher, white boy. I cannot recall his name right now. But he's a big, heavy puncher. He fought Rick Story. Rick Story ended up choking him on the ground, like side choking him or something. It was one of Rick Story's earlier...
Brian Foster?
Foster.
Yeah.
And Foster's a heavy puncher, good wrestler, and got those big slam type of takedowns. You know what I mean? When Gaethje fought him, and that's a guy that likes to make it ugly himself. Gaethje made it so ugly that guy couldn't get through it. When do you see anybody just take Foster out like that?
Well,
you know what I mean?
Another thing to think about too, because he's a puncher, but he throws some ugly ass leg kicks that fuck people up.
Yeah.
You know? And I've known James Vick to be a guy that checks a lot of kicks. Maybe correct me if I'm wrong. You know? But I don't see him shutting that down.
The thing is, I saw something in the Gaethje interview that disturbed me. He said the reason he doesn't wrestle in his fights, even though he's a Division I wrestler, is because he never wrestles in practice, so he knows in a fight he doesn't have the wrestling cardio. How Trevor Whitman would allow that, knowing this is an MMA fighter, as a coach, was very disappointing and disturbing to me. And I've met the guy in person a few times, always been polite, always treated me well, but I never thought I would hear that being allowed at his gym.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it sounds like maybe they don't have the resources to facilitate that, but they need to get them if that's what it's going to be.
I don't believe that, dude. They're in Colorado. It's wrestlers there.
It's wrestlers there.
You know what I mean? And you don't hear Rose having that problem. They're from the same team.
Yeah, but she goes around. She's not just in one place.
She's been just there. She brings people in.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, so it's the same thing. So that just sounds like something he doesn't want to do, and they've been letting him not do it. You should. That's very, very disconcerting to
me. See, you know what? And the troubling thing to me about that is there's been this divide for a long time between like the Colorado gyms, you know, like Trevor Whitman's team, and then all the guys over at the elevation fight team.
Yeah, that's going down, I believe. I think it was that Muscle Farm.
No, yeah, that's
now it's in like L.A.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
Oh, well, I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about then. But, I mean, that would have been a more ideal situation for working on the wrestling if they could cross-manage that. But it's not like all the people just left and went to L.A., so where are they at? You know what I mean?
Yeah. I think it's more something, you know, when people get to a certain point,
where's Neil Magny
coaches just kind of let them... Neil Magny, where is he? He might still...
He's got to be somewhere in Colorado, isn't it?
I don't know where the hell Neil Magny is. You know him? You better hit him up. Man, be like, Neil Magny, let me get in that work.
I assumed he was just training with them same guys.
Yeah. Man, but I don't know. I think that Justin Gaethje's going to test that will. So we'll just see. It's a question mark element to me about Vick. I know Vick got some good hands. He got them lanky, daddy long leg step knees. He mixing the kicks. He got that good darce and guillotine and all that. He ain't even the easiest guy to take down.
I don't see either of them submitting each other.
You know?
But you know what the other thing is like, I think because both guys have shown durability and heart, it's kind of assumed that one guy isn't going to get just slept. But there is a possibility that one of them will get caught and just get slept.
See, I don't know Vick's durability because he don't get hit too often. I know that I know one thing is he leans out like all tall people, and Gaethje loved getting here with his head damn near your stomach and throwing that right hook. And I'll tell you like that, you take that close up with your chin back, I don't care who you are, you done. You know, and Gaethje I feel could get in and everything. But the thing is with James Vick, he liked that straight up step knee. Yeah. And Gaethje always dips in like this. He shell blocks and dips in. That'll go right up there. I think if you knock out Gaethje, it'll start with a knee. It'll either beat a knee or starts with a knee before it is a punch. You know?
It's an interesting dynamic, but they both got a flaw that'll get them killed dead.
Yeah. I don't know who I got on that one. Actually, I don't know who I got.
But you know what? I want Gaethje. I'll tell you that right now. I would much prefer Gaethje to win that fight. That's my opinion. You know what I mean? Nothing against Vick, but I like Gaethje as a fighter, and he seems like a cool dude too. James Vick's probably a cool dude too, but you know, I mean, my heart just goes with that guy a little bit more. That's my thoughts.
I like Gaethje more as a fighter, but at the same time, Vick being ignored for so fucking long, and now if you beat this guy, he can't be ignored anymore. I empathize with that. You know, they got videos of him from like 2016 to now and be like, I won 3 fights. Why ain't I getting no promotion? I won 4 fights. Why ain't I get no promotion? I won 6 fights. And now he's like on an 8-fight win streak. Yeah. You know, and he finally getting the main event. And then for it to be shut off now, I empathize with that the same way I empathize with the fact that all these fans in the UFC want to act like the #1 consensus lightweight is not Tony Ferguson. It is. It is. You know what I mean? Tony Ferguson has beat the most people in the lightweight division. That's in the top 10. and is on like a 10-fight win streak or something. And they want to sit there and talk about it like it's Khabib or Conor. Conor shouldn't even be mentioned in that. Khabib should be mentioned, but it should always be under. You know, I don't feel Khabib could be above Tony till he beats Tony. You know what I mean? Or till he beats enough. Because if you look at the people Khabib fought, I feel Tony fought the higher class lightweights. You know what I mean? So that fight needs to happen. But you got to talk about Tony like he's number one in there, because he is. You got to talk about James Vick like he's one of the best up there, because he is right now. You know, I don't like seeing stuff like that crash down right when people should get credit, because then I just feel like Dana White back there laughing or some shit, you know. But at the same time, Gaethje, that'd be 3 in a row, and I'm like, man, I don't want to see that happen. But I actually don't know how that fight could turn out, because I think a lot of time when I see technical people, they can't just fight. You know what I mean? You remember when I fought Tommy Truex, they had that game plan thinking I was technical to make me fight, but I can't just fight, you know? A lot of people could just fight, like Gaethje, don't get that technical. You could beat them with technique, like you brought a boxer, box the brawler. I don't know if James Vick is the boxer that can brawl, just like I don't believe Gaethje is the brawler that can box. So I really think it comes down to who implements whose game, and when it comes to that, I feel like Gaethje, from me seeing it, has made 100% of people play his game. So I would actually have to lean towards him in the fight, because I feel like if he makes Vick play that, he loses. Unless if Vick has an element I haven't seen yet, and he can fight his ass off. So
this will be where you see it.
Yeah, I'm missing data there. So that's that card coming up. I'm excited to see. Now let's go to some other shit, though. Some of these fights coming up. Let's see what we got. Let's see what we got. Let's start off with, we got Oedzimir and Anthony Smith coming up. What do you think about that?
I have no thoughts. I ain't got no idea who either of those people are.
Yeah, you do. Let me show you the damn picture. Let me show you the damn picture if my phone changed. Man, why my phone playing me? Anthony Lionheart Smith. You know him. And Oedzimir that fought Cormier.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I don't know.
I got Anthony Smith in that one. Because you know what? Oedzimir got like all those quick knockouts, and he was always like, no time, you know. But then as soon as he didn't get a quick knockout on Cormier, he just got taken down, beat up, and he just looked hella sad and discouraged. I don't never like seeing a fighter that just get that easily discouraged. You know what I mean? Because there's like a quitter, and then there's this like level in the middle. Then there's like the people who don't quit. Then there's the people who like will die. You know what I mean? And he's like that level right before quitter, when you look discouraged and you're kind of like, I'm not gonna quit, but I will let myself get choked, or I will not do enough, and I know the ref will stop it.
Quit trying to win.
You know what I mean? Yeah. And when you got Anthony Smith, that motherfucker a murderer. Why you do Shogun like that?
Oh shit.
Why you do Rashad like that?
Man.
You know what I mean? He it's that native blood, you know, he evil.
Dude.
Man, and when you got named like Lionheart.
Yeah, I like that dude. You know what? I haven't seen a lot of his fights, but he's impressed me every time I've seen him out there, man. He's just got like some of the best killer instinct I've seen in a while.
Yeah,
you know,
and he's going to get it done.
Yeah, and the thing is, it isn't even the most technical shots, but he has the placement, you know, he has his eyes, and he'll throw what he's got out there.
And his transition from punches to elbows
yes,
are real good, you know, real good. And he got a chin, you know what I mean? So I got to go with him in that one. Because I just see like Oedzimir starting off fast like he did with DC. But if something starts not going his way, it's going to start really not going his way. You can't have that with that guy.
Yeah.
You can't have that with that guy. It's just like, if you slip, he going to make sure you fall.
Yeah.
You
These
know
are both
what I mean?
newer fighters to me, but Lionheart, I'm a pretty big fan of.
Yeah. I wouldn't mind seeing him fight DC before DC go out. You know what I mean? I think DC would take him down and maul him, but let the young dude get his...
He's got some growing to do.
Yeah, he's too young for DC. DC, old gangster.
Mm-hmm.
So let's see what else we got. Donald Cerrone and Mike Perry.
Man.
I got Platinum. I like Platinum. At first, I was kind of annoyed because he's always on stage, like, eh. But then, you know, when you start listening to his interviews, he's a humble guy. You know what I like about him? He's humble. He always will say when he needs to work on something and admit it. He will always say the honest truth about who he's fighting and not try to just down talk him to look cool. He's funny, all this stuff, and I respect his personality more now. And I like him as a fighter because, you know, he got heart. He got heart.
He does.
And he don't give a fuck.
No, you know what? I ain't got mean shit to say about the guy. You know what I mean? I think because he got a little bit of a white trash thing going on, the people got some shit to say, but it's never been me. I always thought he was a fun, entertaining fighter.
Well, you see, Tyrone Woodley gave him the nigga pass.
Okay.
He gave him the nigga pass. When you get the nigga pass, it's worldwide. You only have black, so you don't understand. But when you get the nigga pass, it's worldwide. Like if one black dude be like, he got the nigga pass, everybody goes, all right, it's cool.
All right, I don't have to work on that.
It's cool, you know. So everybody told him it's cool because he put, "Hey, what's up, my nigga?" Like Tyrone on online, and everybody was like, "What did he say?" Tyrone was like, "No, it's cool." So everybody's like, all right.
Is that how you do it? Is that how you submit your application for the card?
Yeah, you gotta risk the ass whooping. You gotta risk it.
Okay.
He risked it. He got the thumbs up. So now everybody like, all right, what's up, my nigga? So It's cool now.
Well, I gotta give him credit because that's a high risk Twitter move. You know, in this environment, that's pretty risky. But all right, he got a pair of balls on him. My thing is this, man. It's like Donald Cerrone for a minute now has had really underrated wrestling, and he's had a submission game that people know about for a long time. So that could present some danger. But Mike Perry's a bigger dude. He's a stronger dude. And at this point, I think he's a crazier dude with better punches. And Donald Cerrone was a little bit too upright. And, I mean, obviously body shots have been a problem for a while. But his chin hasn't looked as good as it has. You know what I mean? So...
He just fought Leon Edwards, too, who, you know what I mean? UFC, get Leon Edwards. What's his name? Fabian or whatever. Edwards, get him in there, man. Get him in there. Quit hating on the black people. We out there doing work up in Bama. Bama? Y'all already know. But get him up in there. But Leon Edwards is dope.
Mm-hmm.
But the way he was doing Donald Cerrone, it was like, I was like, man, this ain't the same Cerrone. You know what I mean? Like, he was like shooting in like this, like he didn't want to be hit and stuff. I'm like, dude, that ain't even how he used to look. And then, you know, here's the thing, Mike Perry's training at Greg Jackson's. I don't know if you know that. He been training there the last like 2 or 3 camps, training there this camp. And he said Donald Cerrone ain't been there.
Well, yeah, I bet he ain't.
And he said that is because ain't nobody kissing his ass. Mm-hmm. And he said before he was even there, Donald Cerrone wasn't really going there. That's why they told him he could come for the last fight. And he said that supposedly Donald's thinking about moving back to Colorado and just been in his ranch for right now and doing his own thing. So that's a big dynamic. So Greg Jackson and them are going to be in Mike Perry's corner. So it's something going on behind the scenes. And you know Donald Cerrone was one of the original. That's why I don't like that super camp shit, because it always come apart. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Donald Cerrone should always get priority over people. But he said that Donald Cerrone walked in there, asked people, told them don't let him go there, and they were like no. So that's why he's still allowed to go there. So it's, and you know Donald Cerrone is one of those guys. So I feel like the behind the scenes stuff is either going to motivate him or distract him, and I pick distract. Mm-hmm. You know, because Greg Jackson is always the one that uplifted his mental. So now that guy's going, so who's going to do it for him this time? And how are you going to go in the fight with Mike Perry with your head not on straight?
Mm-hmm. Well, my thing is this, man, like, because I think about his mind, too. That's the biggest thing with it, because Donald Cerrone came into it as a real fresh dude. He kind of put himself on the map with those fights with Ben Henderson, you know? real good fights back in the day. Showed a lot of submission skills that maybe didn't quite expect from a guy that could strike like that. Showed a lot of durability, showed himself to be a really tough dude. And then later on, before he got integrated into the UFC, he was showing some wrestling skills against Jamie Varner.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was taking him down.
Yeah, he had those good fights with Varner.
Yeah.
What, 2, huh?
2, yeah.
2,
one
yeah.
where the Britain got detached, right? And
Yeah.
then the next one where he took him down. And yeah, anyway, point being, he evolved, you know what I mean? He was at an upward trajectory for a good long time. And then he had his whole stand at lightweight that was going great. And then he moved up to 170 after being kind of a perennial top 5 guy. And he showed some momentum for a little bit. I thought, look at Cowboy at 170, you know? But, I mean, I think after the way he got done up by Till, I don't know how much he's really looking at himself as being a champion one day. And I already kind of look at guys going up in weight class a lot of times as being something where they can let themselves live life a little bit more and live fighting a little bit less. A lot of the time that's all it is, because it's hard to get down to the ideal weight class, you know what I mean? Some guys end up in that perfect little area, but other guys, it's like just letting a little something slip away so you can be more comfortable. And once you start getting more worried about your comfort than your fight career, it can be a downward slope.
Another thing, too, is what we were just talking about. He was looking good at 70 till he started fighting the real 70 dudes.
Mm-hmm.
And he ain't looked good since.
No, yeah.
You know what I mean? But then here's the other disturbing part. Yancey. You know, that's a training partner of ours back home. He ain't a big guy. He's another normal, like a 55er fighting 70. And Yancey was fucking him up until he lost.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Imagine if that was Mike Perry doing that to him. That's over.
I mean, we already saw what happened with Darren
That's
Till.
over.
That's really just the ultimate thing right there, you know?
Yeah, and Darren Till said that Mike Perry was landing some on him. They sparred,
Mm-hmm.
and Mike Perry said that Darren Till was giving him the work too.
Yeah.
So, if a big boy like that saying, "Hey, Mike Perry got that work," imagine if he hit Cerrone.
Yeah, you know, I mean, I think it'll be a fight, but if I gotta make a pick, I'm picking Perry. You know what I mean? Not necessarily because I think he's got more skills, but he's got the size and he's a real fighter. You know what I mean? Not the Cowboy ain't. Not the Cowboy
One
ain't.
thing that could get Perry is his hands are always at nipple level, and Cowboy blends in that left high kick out of nowhere.
He does.
You know what I mean? So can Perry's chin take a shin?
You know what? And here's the other thing. A lot of guys that are good strikers will end up dropping a guy and throwing their face right into a triangle. I don't think he's that silly, but I've seen it happen before. You know?
I think if he goes down from a punch, it's because he's down.
Yeah.
You know,
right.
Mike Perry be knocking people out.
Yeah.
But I think that I'm going for Perry unless we get kicked in the head. That can also happen. But I think that he's going to be too close to Cowboy to do that. So I got him winning that. Let's see what other big ones coming up. We gonna go to some black on black crime, which I don't even. Hold on, let me look at this camera. Black people, you see the look in my eyes? Get your shit together. Why in rap we find each other, on the streets we find each other, in politics we find each other, in MMA we find each other? Why? It's like 20 of us in MMA in the whole goddamn world or some shit, and we arguing with each other always. Fucking stop. With that being said, it ain't stopping yet, James. Y'all heard James' feelings too. He part black. It's Adesenya and Brunson.
Oh, man. I mean, here's the thing about it. Derek Brunson has a great wrestling style for MMA. He's got a lot of power in his right hand. He's dynamic enough with the striking, although not clean, to be dangerous. He is, I think, in a lot of ways, kind of an underestimated fighter, and for one round, he is murderous, man. And he can last a little bit longer than that sometimes. Sometimes he stretches it further than one round, but one round is really dangerous, man. Really dangerous for that first 5 minutes. Adesanya, man, like, don't get me wrong, he's good. you know. But I do feel like he's a little overrated. You know what I mean? I feel like Brunson presents a certain danger, but at the same time, Adesanya is crafty enough and good enough that he will get through that first round and ultimately he'll win that fight. Possibly by knockout.
You know what? That fight, I'm actually leaning towards Brunson.
Why's that?
Because here's the thing. He's bigger than Israel.
Mm-hmm.
He can wrestle.
Oh, he can wrestle good, especially for
Israel
MMA.
has gotten taken down by people not known for their wrestling.
Yeah.
So to me, that means that a person known for their wrestling can take him down. Then, Israel, let's be real here. We always got to keep it real. It is Trill talk. He's been matched up with people he's supposed to look good against.
And I think he's supposed to look good in this fight, too.
Other strikers that are square, flat-footed, and slow versus a taller striker with mobility, head movement, footwork, and versatility. He's supposed to look good versus these people. Now he's going against a bigger, stronger wrestler who's striking is fucking ugly, but how many guys has he knocked out?
That's true.
He's knocked out hella people, including Uriah Hall, who's considered a real technical striker himself. He's knocked out hella people.
Yeah.
Gave Yoel a hell of a fight.
He did.
You remember that?
Yeah. No, he's given just about everybody a fight.
Whitaker, he almost knocked out.
Mm-hmm.
And Whitaker, now we know that's like,
yeah, he got a
like
great job.
Clark Kent. You know what I mean? To survive Yoel twice, especially that second fight, which I believe he lost, but still surviving that. And he almost knocked him out. His flaw is he's running with his chin up. You know what I mean? That's the main thing. When he gets caught, that's what it is. It's always running in with his chin up and getting hit with the right straight, or he's getting head kicked, and it's starting to begin at the end. You know, other than that, Brunson don't be getting his ass whooped. The thing is, that's the thing about Brunson. He's never just got his ass whooped. A lot of people don't realize that he'll be winning and then running with his chin up and get hit with a counter right or a head kick, and then it goes downhill and he ends up losing TKO. But he'd be winning up until that point. So you take a guy who'll be winning until he's not versus a guy who's been matched up all with people he's supposed to be, and he's been taken down by these strikers. You know what I mean? And Brunson, if he gets you down, he know how to keep you down.
Yeah.
So
do you think he's going to finish him?
I think that if Brunson wins, it will be by finish.
You do?
I do. I think if he wins, and then the thing is, Israel, he's got knocked out cold before in kickboxing.
Yeah. You
know what I mean? That ain't no MMA glove. And Brunson, you cannot count out that left overhand he got. You know what I mean? So how many people has he knocked out in the first round? You know what I mean? So who's to say that? And Israel does this. He always does that. You know, with the chin back. And Brunson rushes in super fast. So let's say he rushes in super fast like he does, and Israel's like this. That's going to go right over. Boom. That's how he gets everybody. Mm-hmm. And the thing is, he has that, like, he can be here and close that distance like that. There's no time to move back. Because if a person's coming in like this on you and you move back like this, it's going to go by. Anderson does that too and would miss. But look at when Chris Weidman, boom, you know, when he didn't step back enough and it hit him, he was out. You can't get hit with your chin like that. Right. You know what I mean? And Brunson closes that distance so fast, that won't work. And it is a consistent habit of Israel's that I've seen.
All right.
So
let me ask
I
you
actually
this.
Wouldn't be surprised if Brunson knocked him out, to tell you the truth.
All right. But if it goes past the first round, you still giving it to Brunson?
The thing is, Brunson doesn't have the best cardio, but he doesn't have the worst.
It's true. You
know, in Israel, if he's fighting at his own pace, like when he did Tavares, he looked decent, but the other fights, he looked like he wore down a little bit too. You know, so I don't really have good.
What do you think about him against McQuarrie?
Against who?
Nathan McQuarrie.
Nate Marquardt?
Yeah.
Who? Brunson?
No.
Or Israel?
Israel.
He didn't fight Mark Ward.
He didn't?
Nah.
Why do I have him confused?
No, he didn't fight Nate the Great. He fought a bunch of like, the only known person he fought is Tavares. Yeah, that's it. And he just basically tagged and ran.
You know why I got myself confused now. All right.
But, and I think that if, even with the cardio being about even to me, I think Brunson being on top of him will wear him down first. You know?
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to see. But I wouldn't be surprised if Brunson knocked him out, to tell you the truth.
Yeah, I would pick it.
Think about it. What was I talking about when I was like, oh, a lot of these kickboxers think it's the same shit with the MMA, and it's not. And then after that, the Rebel, Saki, got knocked out by our homie back home, Roundtree. Mm-hmm. Look how that happened. It could happen again, man.
It definitely could. It definitely could. I mean, I'm picking Israel by decision, but
And Israel ain't a knockout guy.
No, that's one of the things that people don't seem to realize is he isn't a guy that just murders you dead with one punch most of the time. You know, he tends to kill people with timing and over time. He won most of his fights by decision in kickboxing. You know, granted, that's 3-minute rounds and they're most rule sets. So he may not just have quite enough time to knock people out. And it's different in MMA because once you drop somebody, you got a better shot at knocking them out because you can follow up. There's a lot of factors. But that's my pick for that one. What else we got?
Let's see. Let's see what we got next. Let's see. Tyrone Woodley, Darren Till.
Oh, yeah.
The Chosen One and the Gorilla. I like that nickname for him.
What?
The Gorilla.
Okay, I thought you were talking about the Chosen One. That's the stupidest shit I ever heard in my life. I'm going with Darren Till on this one. And this is really just kind of one of those fights where I don't know. So I'm thinking he's never been an easy dude to take down. He's really big, and I just haven't liked what I've been hearing out of Woodley's mouth for a while now. You know what I mean? That's the biggest thing. He's just looking at it mentally. Man, I just don't like anything I'm hearing from the guy. You know what I mean? It doesn't sound like a guy that's
invested in fighting.
Mm-hmm.
But he's in all the movies and shit now. He got the Fox analyst role. Fox. What's up? And then get Greg Blackson in there. He got the Fox analyst role in all these movies. And I'm happy for him. I'm always happy to see anybody doing well, especially a black man. You know what I mean? Get it. But he's always, you remember he had like this, and I think Covington said it, and I actually agree with him. He was like, Tyrone it's this air of entitlement around him. Like he's saying when he's going to fight, when he's not going to fight, who's worth fighting him, who needs to fight, who to get a shot at him. Like he's the matchmaker, like this and that, blah, blah. It's always some reason why somebody should not be fighting him and have to fight this person first or this and this and this day and this day. And somebody, like when he called Covington's like, I'm hurt. He's like, well, you got to fight me on this day. Then they're going to strip Covington now. How you going to get a dude to win the interim belt and strip him because he's injured and can't fight Tyrone when Tyrone finally says he wants to fight? You know, and it was just, I don't like that. And then conversely, you got Darren Till, like in that interview he had, he was like, I'll fight all these cunts. You know, like he didn't care, man. When you get somebody like that versus somebody talking like this, I don't like that. And then the size discrepancy, like even if, dude, look at this picture.
No, I've seen it. I know the exact picture
like,
you're going to pull
look
up.
at that, dude.
Yeah, that shit's insane. It's ridiculous. It looks.
Look at that.
It looks
and just
like,
if y'all can't see what I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm. It looks like a light heavyweight standing next to a welterweight.
Yeah, look at his forearms and everything. And then here's the thing. You know, when I was working for MMA Junkie Radio, gorgeous George Gauze, what's up? Sirius XM Radio USA Today. And they did the expo. Remember, everybody was like, God damn, you're the same size as Woodley. They were all telling me that. And I was damn near the same size as him. And I ain't big. You know what I mean? I don't consider myself big like that.
Yeah,
this
big in my weight, not a welterweight.
This dude is huge, dude. Look at that. I ain't never came close to that size in my life. The thing is, he has that odd combination of height but being dense instead of like getting taller and skinny. You know, he's tall and fucking thick. That's why I like that name, the Gorilla.
He ain't someone like Nate Diaz who has a little bit more height than strength. He's got a lot of both. You know, we got that
like even
leverage.
look at Thompson. He's tall and skinny. This dude's tall and big, dude. Big. And people are going to be sitting there saying like, oh, Tyron Woodley did better versus Thompson than Darren Till did. Yeah. But they ain't the same person. You know what I mean? Yeah, they ain't the same person. That don't mean he's going to approach Tyron Woodley the way he approached, you know, he maybe had more trouble with Thompson because they both take those karate stances. And it's like, damn, I'm fighting another karate guy that's better at karate than me. It's a lot of factors to why he could have not looked that good in that fight. But I don't know, man. I don't want to see Tyron Woodley just hold his legs like he did to Paul Daly. Right. You know I'm still mad about that. All these years later.
The thing is, I remember when I very first heard about Tyron Woodley, it was through you. You were telling me, like, man, there's this guy, he's just super athletic and he moves in so quick. And you were just telling me about this fight sequence he had. I can't even remember who
I think it was Jay Heron.
Probably.
That he knocked out hella fast.
Yeah.
Yeah, he just rushed in and knocked him out. Yeah.
That sounds right. You know, and he looked real spectacular for a while. But then it's like this weird thing because he had a great win against Robbie Lawler that a lot of people didn't see coming. And then from there, he just kind of has this thing that you see with a lot of champions where they go from people that are knocking people out in the first round to people that are taking 5 rounds over and over again. It happened to George St. Pierre. It happened to Jose Aldo, you know. And they just become so invested in keeping it that they don't shine the way that they used to. And sometimes that's a strategically correct decision, but it can also be something that weighs down your performances. And I kind of feel like it's getting to that point now.
Yeah, versus a guy who's going to be in his face. You know what I mean? I'm going with Darren Till on that one as well. I think he's going to end up pulling it off.
Are you thinking there's going to be a finish? Because I think he will finish
I think he'll finish him.
Yeah.
I think he'll finish him as well. You know, but I don't know. Tyron Woodley got that weird just grabbing on you, but Darren Till moves well.
Yeah, and then the other thing is he ain't easy to grab onto. The other thing is when you're grabbing onto that much weight for 25 minutes, you reach a point where grabbing gets real hard.
Here's the thing. He didn't even finish Damian Maia, who's way smaller and slower than Darren Till. People talk shit on Colby Covington. I'm going to tell you this. I'm a Colby Covington as a fighter, liker. You know what I mean? I respect what he's doing, man. That dude put in the work. When he fight, you can tell he put in the work because he don't slow the fuck down. He don't slow down. He don't break his game plan. He don't bend, break, nothing. That dude's like, what up? And he just go in there and do his thing. The way he did RDA, I'm like, what? And then the thing is, everybody's like, man, Maia, blah, blah, blah. Out of everybody that's fought Maia, here's the thing. We're talking about Tyron Woodley. We're talking about Kamal Oedzimir, who's probably going to be fighting the winner of this fight. And we talk about Colby Covington. All 3 fought Maia. The only one who did real damage to him is Colby. Kamal Oedzimir, I don't know why he be having these boring ass fights like Maia and then Emil Meek and then always got something to say afterwards like, nobody want a piece of me. I'm like, come on, dude. That shit was boring. They came out unscathed. Tyron Woodley fought him, and besides that one part of the fight, when he hurt him, it was nothing. Maia was fucked up when he fought Colby. So it's like, he doing something they ain't doing, and I think that if we're looking at talking about all these top welterweights right now in this fight, I think the person who would actually give Darren Till the hardest fight out of those people is Covington. You know, that's what I think. Out of the main welterweights right now, which is Covington, Till, Woodley, and Oedzimir, I think that Covington would be the hardest fight for him.
You know what? Right now, I tentatively agree with you.
And he's a forward pressure guy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I think probably right. If there's one thing that annoys me, is how Kamaru Usman's always talking about how he didn't show his best game or whatever, and the thing is I hate when people go and beat somebody and say, no, you know, I didn't even do that good of a job, but you know what I mean?
Well, you know my number one hatred is, and I love him as a fighter, Dan Hooker, when he just beats the guy, then sits there and complains in interviews how he was mad he didn't get to have a war and show his potential, just basically shitting all over the person.
Super disrespectful. I don't like that shit at all.
Yeah.
But I really do think that Kamaru Usman isn't showing all of what he's got, and if he can start letting it out a little bit better, he might be more than what he's shown so far. You can only speculate on something like that.
But the thing is, can he?
That's
you know what I mean? Why ain't he? If he honed back,
yeah.
You know what I mean? It's kind of like, I can understand some stuff, and it might sound stupid. It's like when I tell you, and some people think it's like, that person talking shit. I'd be like, dude, I never use all my strength. And people would be like, oh, he's just saying that to try to sound stronger than he is. But they don't get it when I'm saying it, not to try to sound like, oh, I'm the strongest person, blah, blah, blah. It's just that, you know, and this is from Robert Crazy Bob Cook, shout out. I used to actually use all my strength all the time. And he taught me, you don't need to do that. Use your strength the right times and when you need to. And you can do these other things where you don't have to use your strength. So now that's how I go about it. So people take my words wrong. But there is shit where like this guy is saying like he could be saying something that sounds like what I'm saying. Like, oh, I'm only using this percent or this and that. And it could be true. But, or it could not. Is he saying in this bullshit? Is he saying it because it's true and he didn't feel he needs to do anything more? Or is he saying it and it's true and he doesn't know how to bring the rest out? It's a lot of variables. You know what I mean? Because some people are like that. Mike Van Arsdale, man, I tell you, back in the OG AK days, that motherfucker was a monster. But then he could not bring that out when he fought. He just could not do it. You know what I mean? It was something that stopped it. It was like some fucking video game or anime where they got someone with a power level just get stopped, like it's too much for the world to see or something. Like he couldn't bring it out in the fight because we were always like, dude, if he ever did in fights what he's doing in this gym, that dude would have been world champion forever, dude, forever.
You know, and a lot of it comes down to temperament, you know. Different people are just driven different sort of ways because I've seen some people that rise or fall to the level of their competition over and over again. And after you see them against someone that makes them rise to their best, you would never think that anybody less than that would ever give them trouble.
The psychology of it is interesting, man.
It's interesting.
It's just like me. I sit here and say it, you know, I don't care about saying it on camera, it's true talk. I can't bring out my full potential unless if somebody pisses me off. You know,
and that's another thing.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, and then some people shrink down once it gets to be a situation where shit gets talked to them or someone gets in their face a little bit, they shrink. Yeah. You know, some people rise up. It's
it's
different
weird
from person to person.
It's weird. I cannot do it on my own. I have to be triggered.
Sure.
Like it's a strange dynamic.
Yeah, I don't know how Usman's wired.
Fellow person. I mean, a swell guy or something, but when I'm pissed off, that swellness is gone. So it's like more shit comes out. Because it's weird to say, I always want to win, but I don't want to hurt somebody. You know? And I think that when I get pissed off, I don't worry about that anymore, so then everything comes out. And yeah, like you said, how is Usman wired? So I tell you like this, from a physical standpoint, if you're just looking at the guy, I would say he probably has the most potential, even more than Woodley, because Woodley looks big but inflated. Come on, Usman just looks dense.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And what is he, Nigerian? If you know the musculature, a lot of those African ethnic groups, they do have a genetic density to them. But where else does that potential lie? You know what I mean? So I'm actually curious about that, what that guy really has. But the thing with Covington, you don't never got to question it.
Yeah, that's a good point. He's consistent.
Yeah, you don't got to question it.
That goes a long way.
Yeah.
You know what? But like I'm saying, if it ends up being a situation where he rises to the level of his competition, then who's to say? Maybe he'll flounder in that situation, you know?
He out-cardioed RDA. And you know RDA on point, can't be outpaced like that. You know, he did him the coldest I've seen, probably, period. Because even when I was going to say since Khabib, but Khabib mostly controlled him. Covington was whooping his ass. You know, like, he was putting the work on him. And outpaced him. I was impressed. I was legitimately impressed. But that's it. So who you got in that one? Till too?
Oh yeah, for sure Till. Well, I mean, I say for sure Till. I actually think that it's kind of a hard thing to pick, but I know exactly what I'm picking. How about that?
So now we got, last but not least, our long time training partner. How long I know him? For like 10 years or some shit. Nate Diaz versus Poirier. I tell you right now, Poirier, I think that's a bad matchup for him. Nate.
You know what? I mean, I've got to take a minute to think about it because obviously I know one like Nate. You know what I mean? So, you know, I love Poirier. I don't care if they do too much, you know. So I've got to buy it straight off the bat.
Here's my thoughts with no bias. Nate's tall.
Right.
He got the reach advantage. And Poirier has no problem being directly in front of you going punch for punch. You know what I mean? You're going punch for punch directly in front of a person who's taller. A lot of your stuff gonna miss. And you know, it just because Nate will go like that or go do this stuff and make it hit off and make you waste your punches like he did to McGregor, got a chin, and is a higher volume puncher than you at angles you do not see coming. And I tell you from sparring Nate and Nick plenty of times firsthand, everybody think it's just slappy. They sneak in random hard ones when you least fucking expect it, you know? And I think that plus the angles is what gets you. Because you're getting touch, and you're like, I don't really care about... And, you know, I remember when I was sparring Nick one time, for example, and he was just going like this, and then something just said, pow! And I was like, hold on, what? And they just come in at random-ass times. And that could get you caught up, you know? And it's startling, because you're like, you know, and because I remember that's how I was. I was like, what the? You know, and that's how it is. And then after that, him and Nate, I was always getting hit like here. Like, and it's starting to get in that danger region. They always coming around these weird angles, and you're like, hold the fuck on, you know? And then you start to be like, what? Because you know that it's a danger region. Then they start hitting you here. It's a dangerous game to be playing. You know, I underestimated it like 200 years ago when I first used to spar him. But it's a dangerous game to play. And Poirier, he will go from a game plan to just fighting you. You can't just fight Nick or Nate. I feel like that's a losing proposition for almost anybody that just stands there and fights those guys. And the other thing is Poirier backs up a lot. He'll put himself to the cage. And you know, Nick and Nate with your back to the cage, with that volume, it like doubles there. And that's where they start putting in their best work to the head and to the body. I just feel like it ain't a good matchup for him. And what is he going to do if he takes Nate down? Maybe hold him. But
I don't like anybody doing that.
I don't like that. He ain't one of the people, like, I could see Khabib on top holding Nate down and not getting subbed or swept. I can't see Poirier on top not getting subbed or swept. You know what I mean? So I don't feel like he got anywhere to go. And I feel like he'll test it. But would it be in a 5-round fight? It's a 5-round fight especially. I think it is. I think it's going to be a main event. I just don't like that. I just see too many areas from him backing up to him being willing to engage. You know what I mean? He engaged with Alvarez. He could have out-techniqued Alvarez, but he engaged. He could have out-techniqued Gaethje, but he engaged. Though Gaethje knows how to make that happen, but at the same time, look at this similarity. Gaethje's a forward guy, and Nate's a forward guy, but Gaethje's short, and Nate is tall. And Gaethje going forward and being like, come on, made Poirier engage. So that already is showing me Nate can do the same thing. but with higher volume, better boxing, and longer reach than Gaethje. And look how much trouble Gaethje gave him. So I think the same thing is going to almost play out, but when it goes like that with Nate, it's going to stay that way.
Well, my thought is this, because the one thing that Poirier brings is he's pretty sharp with the strikes, He throws hard and they tend to meet their mark, He sets stuff up pretty good. In a 5-round fight, I think that's the thing that really makes it tough for him. A 5-round fight against either of them Diaz boys is pretty tough for most people. If he goes in there looking like he has been looking, Nate, that is, I think he's a tough dude to beat, Bias aside, I give him an edge in there, you know what I mean? But it's hard to say. I don't see him getting rocked by him too bad. And if he does, I think he recovers. But I've been surprised before.
Here's the thing that I'm thinking about now. One thing that people have trouble with, southpaws have trouble with other southpaws a lot of the time. They're both southpaws. And if my memory serves me correctly, didn't Michael Johnson knock out Poirier?
I don't remember that fight.
Like super fast, I believe? Or was it the reverse?
I don't think it was the reverse.
I think that Michael Johnson knocked out Poirier.
That sounds more possible.
Let me look it up. And here's the thing. Nate fought Michael Johnson when Michael Johnson was on fire. And blew through him. And Michael Johnson on fire punches were to me way faster and sharper than Poirier's have ever been to this day. When Michael Johnson was on point, his speed was insane. You remember all that, and his output. I feel his speed, the sharpness, and his output is higher than Poirier's ever has been, and Poirier's on point right now. And Nate handled it fine. What is Poirier gonna do? You know what I mean? And Michael Johnson was a knockout guy when he was sharp.
Okay, but Poirier is a little bit more dynamic with his kicks and stuff. So, it's a point to consider.
Yeah, he'll kick some, but he ain't the best kicker.
Yeah, but neither was Thompson, but he got done.
Yeah, but Thompson got those sneaky kicks. We both trained with him.
Yeah.
I put in a lot of rounds with that guy. He got shit that had just come right over the top and everything like that.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a shame he wasn't in the UFC more during his prime years.
Yeah. Well, he did end up losing fights to Gill that he didn't lose as well.
That's true. I feel like he was just a little bit past his expiration date by the time he finally got to the money-making years. That's just
he made good money Strikeforce though.
Sure.
Him and Gill was making more in Strikeforce than people was getting paid in UFC.
So that was a funny dynamic in the fight business. There was a time.
Strikeforce was great. Yeah, Josh, Eve Edwards, they were the dudes.
Man, Eve was even worse, man. It's just like...
Eve never even got to get that Strikeforce money.
No.
Why they didn't give him that Strikeforce money?
Man, he was a guy that, just peaked at an awful time.
I love Eve Edwards.
And that was a great fight between him and Josh.
I remember when I met him when we was chopping it up, and he was like, "You a lightweight?" Him and Carl Parisian. "You a lightweight?" I was like, "Yeah." That's when I was just putting on size. They were like, "Hell no, you hella big." He was like, I don't want to fight you. I said, "I want to fight you, Thug Jitsu." He's just cool though, man. I'm happy he got that analyst role. Let's see what's going on with Michael Johnson.
Yeah, that mobile sure dog's a mess.
Yep. He can KO Poirier in a minute and 35 seconds.
That's crazy.
Yep. So look at that. His punch, and guess what? That was like this.
All right.
They started engaging, and Poirier went, okay. Poirier, and I love him for that fighter shit. Okay, you slinging at me, what's up? But you can't do that all the time, man, because he had harder trouble with Alvarez than he did to doing that. He had harder trouble with Gaethje doing that. And he got hurt by Alvarez. He got hurt by Gaethje. You already know. If Nick or Nate hurt you, it's all bad.
Yep.
It's all bad, you know? And I feel like at a certain point, how you going to take the dog out of the dog?
Yeah.
You
Thing
know
about
what I
Nick
mean?
and Nate both, and it's weird because you always talk about them together and they're different dudes. But they got so many similarities as fighters that it's like you almost feel like you need to talk about them as like a singular entity, you know?
And I feel I used to feel like Nick was the higher level one for a long time, but I feel like Nate stepped out of his shadow and has more of the complete game at this point, you know? Nate's dangerous, man.
Yeah,
So who you got in that fight?
I think you've got a superior mindset at this point. I still think Nick has the better skills overall. Well, let me ask you this, because I'm siding with Nate too, you know? A little bit, that's just a personal bias, but also I can see over the course of a 5-round fight, I don't think Nate's going to get finished, and I don't see him losing a whole lot of decisions, you know what I mean? So that's my logic to it. But do you see a finish happening and how?
I see Poirier getting TKO.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Do you have a round where you think it happens?
2.
2?
Yeah.
Really?
Mm-hmm. I think that he'll be winning most of one, and then Nate will start turning it into a fight, and Poirier will answer and it'll start to go downhill, and then Nate will pick that up in round 2, and it will go downhill to a TKO from there.
Mm-hmm.
Or he will control himself in round 1 and win the whole round, and in round 2, Nate will start to turn into a dog fight, and Poirier can't. A dog got to be a dog. So when Nate start pissing, he's gonna have to start pissing back, and it'll go downhill fast, and he'll get finished.
Yeah. One of the things about Nate is he doesn't take a lot of people down, except when he does some crazy judo shit, which is pretty dope. But when he knocks people down, fuck, dude, they're in bad trouble. If he gets knocked down, you don't want that situation, man. You just don't.
Yeah.
'Cause it's funny, he doesn't look like he's got the hardest punches, but he places them well on that ground and pound, and he blends his jiu-jitsu and his ground and pound really well.
Yeah, he does. He does. Well, shit, we're about to step it up to that Diaz level out here in China, rolling with people we rolling with. Shit, it ain't gonna be no harder than what we rolling with. But that's the show for today. All mixed up with everything. Cover a few things. China edition. See the sadness in my eyes. Hello, darkness, my friend. At James Chaney, MMA on everything. At Fallen Angel 510 on everything. Holla at your boys.